And we're live. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Friday night. A lot of you are out partying, out in the club. I'm here talking with First Sergeant. I almost said former Marine First Sergeant, but once a Marine, always a Marine, right?
Always.
First Sergeant Mark Wheatley. And he's a guy that I follow on TikTok. And he's got a great TikTok channel. He's a true Marine. He's a man's man. He's the kind of guy that we're running out of in the United States. And he gives a lot of good advice to people on TikTok. He does live streams. He answers questions to people that are considering joining the military, and just gives some good, I guess what I would call dad advice, first sergeant advice. And just want to welcome you to the show, Mark. And maybe just go ahead and give us a little bio. Tell us about yourself. And
well, I did 24 years in the Marines. Was a drill instructor for 4 years. Retired a first sergeant. Actually, could have been a sergeant major, but I decided to get out. The board called me and said I probably would get promoted if I stayed, but I decided not to. I did after that. I did 25 years in the trade show business, and then I just recently retired. And I just happened to get onto TikTok. You mentioned that. And then I started seeing a way to maybe take some of that stuff that's stuck up in my head and share it with people. And it seems to have hit a nerve because, Marines common sense is something that we thrive on, and no drama. You know what I mean? So basically that's why I'm here. I got about 80,000. I want to come by. All I want to do is try and give everybody some hope that that we can get through whatever's going on, whether it be 2 months or 4 years.
I call it the Truman Show. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, The Truman Show, where the guy lives in this fake reality.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that.
Like what we're going through right now. I've been going through that for a long time personally. But I saw that's the reason why I reached out to ask you to do an interview is because I saw that you are really enjoying what you're doing. I can see that you're passionate about what you're doing, and you're having fun, and you're enjoying giving information to people that is going to benefit them and help them grow as a person. And I watch your live streams all the time, and I think it's great. There are a lot of young men and women, a lot of young men that need a role model like you. They need to hear the kind of things that you say. We're running out of men, real men, and
real men, exactly, and women, by the way.
Yeah. Everybody, wants to be politically correct, and they could kick me off YouTube for saying this, and I could give an F less. I'm not stifling my speech anymore. I'm not giving away one more right, because that's what they're doing, is taking it away. But yeah, they've been doing this systematically here in our country to just break down our country and destroy it, to take away our real men, to tell them, hey, you might want to be a woman. If somebody's an adult and they want to do that, that's fine. But they're starting it from a young age, and they're trying to get rid of all of our real men, all of our tough guys. We need tough guys. We need tough people in the armed services, the Marine Corps, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, all of them.
All services, and the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
And I will tell you one thing, Mike, and I'm straight up about it, and you've seen it on my lives and everything else. I don't pull any punches, and I'm not a red meat guy. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. Not you, but when I'm talking to people,
in general,
I make some people mad sometimes. People that support me, because I'm going to tell them what I think they need to hear, not what they want to hear. You know what I mean?
I say it all the time. That's why I like President Trump so much. I still call him President Trump. He's still my president. But right. He tells uncomfortable truths as opposed to comforting lies. And that's what so many of these politicians for so long just lie to everybody nonstop because it makes them feel good. And when you're uncomfortable, because the truth, if things aren't all peachy and grass is green everywhere, it means you need to get up and do something to make some change for yourself or for your country or for your community, whatever. And that seems like the way that you talk too. You're just a straight shooter, and you're kind of funny too, man. You make me laugh. I could imagine you being my drill instructor. I bet you you had some good jokes, and you would make guys laugh intentionally to go make them
Oh,
go
I
smoke
just
them.
I, I just told a couple of them tonight. I mean, I was 4 years a drill instructor.
Mhm.
About a year and a half as a junior or senior, and then I was a chief drill instructor for 6 cycles. So, yeah, I have some stories that I usually tell on Friday nights. Friday
Yeah.
nights is my military night.
Yep, I love how structured you are on your TikTok channel. It made me laugh, not laugh at you, but just how you say, okay, this night we're speaking about this. I'll be on from this time to this time, and this that, and that's definitely a military thing, to have it all
Yeah.
structured. I mean, even me, I was in the Air Force for 14 years, and I don't really schedule stuff very much. Sometimes I just hop on a whim, and I do my videos, and I document and report a lot of different things. It doesn't really allow me to make a schedule like that. But yeah, I loved seeing that. How you put up a TikTok video with your schedule of all the times that you're going to be live. That was great. That was great.
Well, you know what? I'm still trying to learn TikTok a little bit, but if they don't know when you're going to be on, how are they going to know how you're going to share your information? I don't want just random people. I
Yeah.
want people
Yeah.
that are genuinely interested in ideas.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have the random people too. I'm not because
Oh yeah, without
there's
a doubt.
new people that might say, like, who's this guy? What's this guy talking about? And then you gain a new follower. Which, by the way, congratulations, you're up to about 80,000 followers on TikTok.
Just broke 80,000 tonight.
That's awesome.
Actually went from 16,000. I was at 16,000, Mike,
Uh-huh.
2.5 weeks ago.
Oh,
And then I put up that Unity. I don't know if you saw the Unity video or not, telling them why we're not going to unify behind Joe Biden. And that thing just exploded. And after that, it's gone from there.
yeah, because they've been bashing us for 4 years. Well, for me, longer than that. I got targeted by these people in about 2012. I cannot stand Barack Obama, Barry Soetoro. I do not like that guy, and I saw that he was a domestic terrorist, that he was going to try to destroy our country. And while I was still in the military, when I tell you this, you're going to be like, oh man, you should have waited till you get out. But I started getting on social media and telling people while I was still in the Air Force that he's not here to help our country. And you're not supposed to speak out about your president, but I realized he was an illegitimate president, and I wanted to let people know, And so anyway, yeah, I've gone through some crazy stuff since that administration while I was still in the military. But that's a whole.
Well, actually, Barack Obama is the one that got me. I was on internet radio,
Mhm.
WS Radio, the worldwide leader in internet talk. I did it for about 2 years,
Awesome.
2,000 to 4,000 listeners. Because of Obama, because I should be honest with you, I should be out. My dad was in the Air Force, but I should be out drinking a beer or running an Irish pub or something. But I feel passionately about there's people out there that are feeling down and anxious about what's going on, and they need voices like yours and mine to at least calm things down and give them direction.
Yeah. Have somebody to listen to that has some experience with what's going on in the world, and can work some things out and use some critical thinking skills, like you were just saying. A lot of people don't have critical thinking skills anymore, which we used to just call common sense, and think things through on their own. They've been taught intentionally to absorb information and repeat that information without thinking. Yeah, that's what they're doing in a lot of the schools right now. And yeah, you're definitely a critical thinker. There's people asking what your TikTok username is. So
it's Mark, M-A-R-K, the T-H-E, First Sergeant, all spelled out. So Mark the First Sergeant. And First Sergeant spelled out. It's not one S-G-T-T. It's Mark, T-H-E, First, F-I-R-S-T, Sergeant, S-E-R-G-E-A-N-T.
All right. How about, let's see. I put that on. Okay, so right under me, folks. I don't know if you can see that, First Sergeant. Right under me.
I'm looking at. I don't want to get too close to the camera here, but
okay, yeah, that's fine. So that's
yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Yep.
so this is the username.
And you know what? Right now, I'm maxed out on followers, so I can't follow people back because I'm
Okay.
at 10,000. My general rule's been if somebody follows me, I follow them.
Oh, okay.
But after about 20,000, that couldn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I usually don't do that. I think I follow about 260 people or so. Just
Yeah.
so the people that kind of research the same stuff I do, just so when I want to go just to that little tidbit, then I can. But yeah,
Right.
everybody is different. That's awesome. But people probably love that they get a follow from you and they see that. That's great.
So I get comments all the time. It's like, wow, somebody with
First, I was,
8 followers followed me. Well, and that's
yeah,
obviously I can't follow them all, but
yeah.
the last month I've been looking at who they are. I look at their profile like yours and say, yeah, this is a guy I need to be with.
Awesome. I appreciate that. I mean, that means a lot to me. I appreciate it. I've worked hard for the last. Let's see. I started documenting. I started going through some crazy stuff. Well, a long time ago. It's always a long story, but in April of 2016, I realized I'd been targeted for. Well, I don't know the exact reason, but most likely by Department of Homeland Security or through the FISA court, similar to what happened to General Flynn. Where he was targeted, and the FBI set him up and everything, and believe that he was put through the FISA court, and the same thing with President Trump. I believe that Trump was targeted through the FISA court too, Carter Page and all those guys. So I've been put through something like that. But the thing about the FISA court, the FISC, is you're not notified that you've committed a crime or you've done anything wrong. You're put through
Right.
an unconstitutional court. And then you just start receiving non-judicial punishment in the form of PSYOP, psychological operations. And, you were in the Marines for 24 years. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So what happened during the Obama administration, they updated, they always use these nice words. They updated watch list and guidance. Basically, what they did was they took Muslim Brotherhood, people with Middle Eastern terrorist ties off of the Department of Homeland Security watch list, and they put a bunch of veterans and journalists, whistleblowers, et cetera, on these watch lists, and started using people with clearances, which are a bunch of former military, to continue working in programs that they had used before, anti-terrorist programs, basically, but now they started going after veterans. So they've got veterans and intel targeting veterans, nationalists, truth journalists, and using us to divide and conquer, to basically take each other out.
Right.
And so I got targeted into that, and that's what I've been documenting and reporting on for quite a while now. So, and one of the things that they try to do to me in the PSYOP is they'll use former service members or people that pose as former service members to stalk and harass me in public, and they want me to just build this hate against a certain group. They'll have a certain branch of military for a whole week, or somebody that is just dressed as a certain, with a certain branch hat on or whatever, and they'll run these psyops on me, and they want me to basically just speak negatively about that branch or whatever, and I know that if I'm susceptible to that, and I just go ahead and clump everybody into one group, then they're succeeding by forcing me to be part of the divide and conquer by being hateful towards my brothers and sisters that I would still die for if I got put back in the military, was allowed back in the military, and got deployed again. I'd jump on a grenade for one of my fellow service members. And I was a firefighter, active duty crash fire rescue firefighter when I was in the Air Force, and I trained at San Angelo, in San Angelo, Texas, at Goodfellow Air Force Base. And when I went to the fire academy, I trained with Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force. It was joint force, and we all worked together. And I consider and I've worked on deployments on TDY with Army and Marine Corps, in my service. And I still consider everybody my brother and sister. But I really have been trying to let's see, we're getting too much about me. Everybody that watches my channel already knows all this, but that's also
Well,
one
I
of the
just
reasons.
wanted to tell you real quick. My wife and I were married in San Angelo, Texas.
Oh wow, what a small world. I
Yeah,
nobody
she was
knows where that is.
stationed at Goodfellow. She was a Chinese Mandarin linguist, and they have
Yeah,
a 6-week program they do there.
Intel base. Yep. One side of the base is Intel, and the other side is the Fire Academy.
Right, right.
So, yeah. Wow, small world, man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Yep.
Not that we picked it, but we had to. Otherwise, she was going to Korea. So
Oh, okay.
that's
Okay.
another story.
I'd rather go to Texas.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I would have moved to Texas instead of here. That's a whole nother long story. I'm from California originally. I was
I am
born.
too.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
I'm here now. I'm in San Diego County now.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, man. That's got to be tough for you every now and then. I mean, you're a pretty thick skinned
Yeah.
guy,
You know
but
what? It's just like anything else. I had some bad duty stations in the Marine Corps. It's what you make of it.
yeah.
It really is. That's what I tell people. One of the things I always did as a first sergeant is I knew I couldn't change the Marine Corps, but I could make my company or my unit the best I could. And that's the
Awesome.
same thing I'm trying to do with videos and stuff like that. Trying to make
Yeah.
it the best I can.
Well, you've given some really good advice. I see a lot of people asking about what branch they should join and what do they need to do to get ready for basic training. You were talking about PT today.
Yeah.
Giving some people advice, and a lot of people don't have any advice. They don't have somebody to give them some kind of advice before they go into the military to decide what branch they want to go into,
Right.
or when they want to join or how they want to do it and stuff like that. So that's great. You're providing a service free of cost just because you care about people
That's right.
to give people some heads up and point them in the right direction. My dad wasn't around when I was a kid. Single mom raised me.
Right.
It would have been helpful for me to have a father figure around, and I didn't have that
Male influence.
yeah, I didn't have that guidance. And when I joined,
Actually, that's one of the things I enjoy doing the most is I get because Tuesdays and Thursdays I tend to do politics and other things. Friday I do an hour on Friday just on military.
yeah,
But I actually enjoy because believe it or not, Mike, a bunch of a bunch of that 80,000 are people young, 13, 20, 21, 22, young people,
well,
and they need some guidance.
and here's the
You know?
answer. Here's why. Here's why. There's a lot of kids that don't have a father figure, a grandpa around, somebody. They're on their own. It's mom raising them, dad took off somewhere, or dad raising them, and dad's at work 100 hours a week like you used to work, or whatever. Somebody around, and there's not a lot of people like you that they can get advice from. That's going to just tell it to them straight, like a man's man, a guy, and they see that and they go, okay, here's my opportunity to get some advice from somebody that's going to help me out. And I see,
Well, I've been fortunate in my life to have some pretty darn good examples, whether it be my father, my grandfather, the Marines, even when I became a civilian 20 years ago plus. I've had some really good mentors in my life, and I want to share what they taught me. My grandmother gave me some of the best advice I've ever had, and I just want to share that. Actually, believe it or not, I've had two young ladies that have adopted me as their grandfather because
That's awesome.
they didn't have a grandfather. And
That's
they
awesome.
just sent me a message, would you mind being my adopted grandfather? Sure.
That's
I
great,
told my
man.
wife, I said, we got a grandkid.
Well,
So I don't mind doing that. I think it's important because I was fortunate. Like you, I grew up with a single mom. She left my dad when I was 5. I'll make this quick. She left my dad when I was 5. At 9 years old, I was getting out of control. So she sat me down and she goes, would you like to go live with your dad? And I hadn't seen my dad much because we moved around so much. And she goes, would you like to go live with your dad? She had full custody, Mike, full custody. She didn't have to do this. And I said, yeah. And I did. And he kept me out of trouble. And I joined the Marines. And my hat's off to her to do that, because a lot of parents that go through divorce wouldn't do that. And she had the presence of mind to say, he's a young man. He needs to have a man in his life. And she did it, and I ended up not going to jail because of it.
Awesome. That's awesome. I actually did a few years ago, but that's a whole nother talk show. Um, I gotta, you can check out some of my other videos, but yeah, I've never been in trouble in my life, and I ended up getting arrested January 4th of 2018, 3 weeks after I uploaded a video about some of these. It was retaliation. We'll just say that. Kind of like General Flynn. I don't know if you follow General Flynn very much, but he knew some stuff, and he was going to uncover some things, and the FBI called him in for an interview. We'll just say that. So, we won't get into that too much. One of the things I wanted to, I'm still working through that actually, but one of the things I wanted to ask you is just, you've got some experience. You were in the Marine Corps for 24 years. A lot of people would call you a conservative.
I'm conservative, without a doubt.
Okay. All right. I don't want to label you. I'll let you do that. But you clearly care about this country and the freedom of the citizens in our country. And I've seen firsthand that can be taken away in a moment, but they're trying to do that on a mass level now. And this isn't a simple answer, but what do we do to get our country back and our constitutional rights?
Actually, right now, I'm going to tell you what we don't do. Okay, let me start with that real quick. This talk of civil war, the talk of beating people, starting violence like Antifa is not the answer. That is what they want us to do, Mike. That's exactly what they want us to do.
Yep.
First off, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but a civil war will destroy this country. This isn't 1861. I know who has all the ammo. I know who has all the weapons. But do you seriously think China and Russia are going to sit by while we kill each other?
Not at all. That's when they show up. That's when they show up.
So even if they just sat back and let us fight each other for a year or two, they're going to control the rest of the world. So when we did come out on the other side, we're isolated. So that's ridiculous. People got to stop talking about a civil war. That's just ridiculous.
100%.
Antifa type tactics. That's not the answer. Because I guarantee you, they will use that against us. They'll start arresting us. They'll call us domestic terrorists. So those aren't the answers. Here's what I tell the folks to take the time to listen to me. And some people don't agree with me, but it's the best tools we have right now. Because we're winning already, by the way, Mike. I'll tell you what I think we should be doing. Number one, we got to get this mail-in ballots fixed in whatever states we can do. Okay. Now, you're not going to change it in California. You're not going to change it in New York, but there's a lot of swing states, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania. Need to get with our state legislatures, get this mail-in balloting gone. Not absentee, mail-in. Okay. Because that's what cost Trump the election. All right. And they weren't valid. So we got to get rid of that. How do we do that? Start calling your state representatives and your governor's office. And here's what people think: I'm a pacifist because I say this. We need to get involved with making phone calls, writing letters, and getting off our butts and getting involved. And the way you do that, you call your state representative and say, I want this mail-in balloting stopped. And that's where you get that done first. The other thing, everybody's saying that we're dead in the water, that it's 50-50 in the Senate, Mike. It takes Harris to break a tie. So what do we have to do? You got Manchin from West Virginia, Tester from Montana, Sinema from Arizona, and there's like 4 other Democrats that are in red states that are up for re-election next year. So can I give you a quick example of what I just did? I called Senator Manchin's office, and the worst thing you guys can do, this makes a difference, guys, and I'm going to prove how it makes a difference. I got on the phone. I said, Senator Manchin, I didn't talk to him. I talked to an aide. I'm not from your state. I'm a conservative, and I can't vote for you one way or the other. But you said you're not going to allow the hard left, the liberal stuff to go through. Certain things are going to happen, okay? But I'm talking about the hard stuff, the stuff that just drives you crazy, all right? Senator Manchin, you said you won't get rid of the filibuster. You won't pack the court. You won't go for the 51st state in D.C. You said you won't do that. I'm going to hold you to that, because if you don't, I'm not a rich man, but I'm going to send every dollar I have to your opponent. I'm telling you, Mike, they listen. All right, especially if they're up for re-election next year. Sinema from Arizona, Tester from Montana. Those guys want their jobs too. And they're not. Matter of fact, Tester just came out and said that the Keystone Pipeline was a mistake. They just had a vote yesterday, and I'll tell you why I know this is working is because it was 52 to 48 not to allow any illegal aliens to get COVID payments. 52-48 blocking them.
Blocking them. Okay.
Blocking them.
Okay.
That means 2 Democratic senators crossed lines and said, I can't vote for this. I'll get kicked out of office. So we need to, and I'm starting to do it now, is identify the Democrats that are those. I can tell you 4 right off the top. I've already said it. Tester, Manchin, Sinema. You get on the phone. You don't yell and scream. Yeah, I'm not from your state, but I'm telling you, I will spend every dime I have to get you defeated. So all it takes, Mike, is 1 senator. And then Harris can't break the vote. You can't break the tie. 1 senator. And I'm telling you, it works. They're afraid of the hard left stuff. There's some things we can't control.
That's good advice. Now I'm hoping to see some Congress and Senate get cleared out by being arrested. That's what everybody's been hoping for. I don't know if that's actually going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just being honest, and I told you before, I'm not a red meat guy. It's not going to happen, in my opinion. I don't see that happening. Nobody's going to be arrested. I've seen the say Pelosi's arrested. It's just not going to happen. All right. Yeah. Number one, they control the Department of Justice now. They control the FBI. They control the Marshal's office. Whether we like it or not, they do. All right.
Yeah. Well, that's clear.
Nobody's going to get arrested. The only way we're going to beat these people, Mike, is at their own game. And I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about scaring the hell out of the Democrats that are up for re-election next year. I'm not talking about the liberal ones. Screw them. Don't call the senator of California. Call the ones in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia. That guy is up in Georgia again. Call them and say, if you don't, and hammer them. And I don't mean just one phone call and then go drink a beer for 6 months. I'm saying every time you hear something coming up that is far left, that shouldn't be, like, let's say DC comes up and they want to make it a state. I'm on the phone that day with all those senators. Calling the office saying, if I can't vote for you or against you, but I can sure spend a lot of money. I got 80,000 people that are listening. And and if they start getting a bunch of phone calls, Mike, they will listen. I'm telling you. And all we have to do is convince 1 in the Senate, and the House is barely 3 I think a 5-vote majority. And a lot of people don't realize there's a group in the House called the Blue Dog Democrats. They're conservative. They consider themselves conservative.
Yeah,
by our standards, but they're moderate.
Yep.
They're Blue Dog Democrats. I just called the leader of that group the other day, and I told him, I said, look, I know you guys are going to pass some things that are I don't agree with, but you better hold your own against, I call it, what the heck was his name? I'll look it up. I think it was Colin Peterson. I think his name was Peterson up in Minnesota. And I use this name. I'll look it up. I'll let you know next time we get together. I think his name was Colin Peterson. Anyways, he was a Blue Dog Democrat up in Minnesota. 30 years he was in office, and they got rid of him last year because he voted against Trump. That's the same thing I tell the Blue Dogs when I call them up. You better hold the line, or we're going to Peterson you. They listen. My people think they don't. They do.
Huh.
They want their job.
Where do people get the contact information? Just on the state website?
I think it's USA.gov. But if you just type in, you can almost. I don't Google anymore. I call it DuckDuckGo. I don't know if you've heard of that. I got rid of Google.
Yeah,
I got rid of Google. I call it Duck It. But I go to DuckDuckGo and just type in contact Congress, and they will, like if your area, you can just say my congressman, and it'll bring them up. And let me tell you a key on that. If you work all day long, you can't call, email, do something, but don't use it. Don't use these template emails. Write your own email. And again, don't be angry. Don't challenge them, because you're just going to lose them. Get on there and just say, look, I can't, if it's your district, you say, I'm going to vote against you if you don't hold the line. And not for everything either. Don't do it every time something comes up. because we're going to lose some things. That's just a fact. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
But so I type in your address and say my congressman or my senator, and I think USA.gov has a list of everybody. And when you go to their page, a lot of times they kind of hide. They don't want you calling. Look for where it says offices, because that's where you want to call. And it's kind of hard to find sometimes. They don't just put the telephone number there. They don't want to hear from you. That's it.
They don't make it easy to be contacted. I used to go to the state capitol. I lived in Oklahoma for a couple of years, and there were some things I was advocating for. And I went down to the state capitol, and man, those guys saw you come in, and they would shut their door or like run down the hall just to get away from you. So you had to go through a maze just to get in front of one of those people, because they don't want to hear it. But
something else I'm telling everybody. I don't know how much time we have, Mike, but here's the way I look at it. We lost the tactical fight. We lost the short-term fight of the election. All right, we lost it. I'm not going to go over that anymore. Now we need to start thinking strategic. Strategic means take back the House in 2022, take back the Senate in 2022, and we can. And I just did a 15-second video on TikTok about quitting, about giving up. All right, I just did it today. Shortest one I've ever done.
And I needed to hear that.
And my opinion is, some people say, no, we're never going to see another Republican. Okay, good. Just quit. Just get out of my way. I got things to do. All right. If you want to just give up and say that they're going to control votes from here on out, then quit. Get out of the way, because that's all you're doing is getting in the way. There's a number of things, and I've already talked about calling your state representatives, get the mail-in ballots taken care of. By the way, that's already happened in Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. All those are all controlled by Republicans. People don't know that. The legislatures are controlled by Republicans. They're going to get rid of mail-in balloting. Those 3 states alone, if they didn't have mail-in ballots, Donald Trump would be president right now.
Oh, absolutely. With that and thousands of dead people voting, and Dominion servers, and all the George Soros owned computer voting machines and all that stuff. There was a lot of stuff that they did to steal that whole thing, in my opinion. And I'm right here in Maricopa County. If you paid it, well, not you. If anybody out there has paid attention to the election, what was going on, you probably heard Maricopa County for the first time in your life. We're right in the middle of it here. And when I left California, I left because I saw what was coming. I saw society declining. I saw crime going up. I just didn't want to raise my family there anymore. And I thought, you know what? I want to move to Mayberry. Where is that? I want to go to Mayberry, RFD. Yeah, so I moved out to Oklahoma, and I ended up in Norman, which is the most liberal place in Oklahoma. And I did some research, and I saw that Arizona had a lot of constitutional type laws. I thought, I'm going to go to Arizona. Turns out I end up on the west side of Phoenix, which half of California moved here to Phoenix, and they're literally trying to take over Arizona and take it over and turn it into a blue state. And that's what it showed on the election numbers, which I think is completely completely bullshit, because I went out. Sorry, I don't want to offend anybody with the language here. If you watch my channel, you're probably used to it. I got a mouth like a sailor. I think it's nonsense, because I was in a Trump caravan that was 76 miles long out here on Interstate 10. I've been to Trump rallies here in Arizona, and they were huge. And I see people with Trump stickers, and I talk to people that are Trump supporters, and it's not even close to what I was seeing for Biden. I mean, it's just and all the same thing all around the country. But
5 major cities cost Trump the election: Phoenix, Arizona, Detroit, Michigan, Wisconsin, Philadelphia, and Atlanta, Georgia. Those 5 cities, because of the way they counted ballots, are the reason Donald Trump lost the election. Period.
And there's some interesting things with 2 of those cities, the county at least. So I don't know how much you're willing to talk about George Soros, but I talk about him a lot because he spent a lot of money to divide and conquer other countries, and he's done that here in our country as well. And I don't mind saying people's names. I can't get targeted more than I already am. I've gone through everything: death attempts, poisoning, car accidents, you name it. But get somebody shot my sliding glass window out 4 months ago with a 9mm, found a bullet in my foot. So I don't care. But George Soros has pumped millions of dollars into Antifa and Black Lives Matter to destroy, loot, riot, cause all the Marxist chaos that they've been taking part in. And as I did more research, I learned that George Soros also paid millions of dollars to get certain sheriffs elected to take out
district attorneys
right along with it. And one of those counties where he paid millions of dollars to have the sheriff inserted was here in Maricopa County. Paul Pinzone got Pinzone elected to get rid of Sheriff Arpaio. And I talk about it all the time, and it's miraculous. Right after I talk about that on an interview, I've got a sheriff's cruiser sitting outside, right outside my neighborhood as I leave, or showing up at the same place, where I go and stuff like that. So I think they've got their ear to the tracks, paying attention to what I'm saying, and they're trying to get me to shut up. But why would the person that's paying millions and millions of dollars for people to loot, riot, burn people's hard-earned businesses down, why would that same person be funding a sheriff and DAs in certain areas? So they can all work together, so they won't prosecute those people, so they won't go in and enforce the laws in election counting, ballot counting areas, polling places, stuff like that. And that's one of the things that people want to pick one side or the other. And John F. Kennedy said that they would try to take us over through infiltration, subversion, and that's what I see happening right now. And even like in politics, if you go up high enough, the left and the right, some of them are doing the same thing. We've got some good politicians like Andy Biggs here in Arizona. I love Andy Biggs. He's great. I met him in Andy Biggs.
Oh yeah,
state representative here in Arizona. I met him in person. Gave him my business card so he could research the information that I've reported on. I talk a lot about the FISA court because they're using that as a weaponized system against a lot of people here in the United States. And 1 week later, he got on Twitter and did a video about how corrupt the FISA court is and how it needs to be getting rid of, basically. So, but yeah, there are some people. But then we've got the, I guess you call them the rhinos. They're gonna play their part and pretend that they care about people's freedoms while they're doing the exact same thing that the liberals are. And that's what we call the deep state, basically. I'm not sure how far you get into that deep state or the shadow government or anything like that, but that's so we've got what we've got going on. And okay, I was going to try.
I think it's important for everybody to realize we have tools, we have things we could do, and none of them involve playing into their hand. All right, I tell people who are listening to me, and you may agree with some of this, you may not, but the three things Democrats want us to do, and they're real quick. They want us to give up. They want us to stop voting, flat out. That's what they want. That's what happened in Georgia, by the way. You got a conservative that went out and told everybody, don't go vote, and we lost the 2 seats in the Senate because of that. I'm telling you right now. One conservative, I'm not going into names, but he specifically told people not to vote. Well, that sure showed them, didn't it? That was just stupid.
You're absolutely right. They want you to give up. They want you to live in fear. They want you to be so distracted and sidetracked that you're just going to say, you know what, this isn't worth it. This isn't worth it. I'm just going to go over here and live my life, and I'm not going to be a part of this whole process. They want to make it so difficult that you just exactly what you just said. You give up. And I've had so many days where I've just wanted to give up. Where I prayed that I didn't wake up the next day. Mine's a special case. It's a little bit different than just everyday person that wants to be involved in the political process and stuff like that. But I've definitely had those days, and I know a lot of other people have too, where they just want to give up. And I did. I watched your video today, and you were talking about not giving up. And
Right.
man, I'm telling you, just a 60-second video like that could literally save somebody's life. And I'm not saying I was on the edge today or anything like that.
I agree with you.
But there's certain days where you just need to hear somebody say, "Don't give up. You can keep doing this." And you're like, "Okay, thanks. I appreciate it."
What people have to realize is, yes, there's going to be something on the news that's going to drive you crazy, because there are going to be some Democratic policies are going to happen. It's just going to happen. That's it. That's all there's to it. We need to hold the line now, because in less than 6 months, the next election season starts, and those Democrats I was telling you about, they really start listening, and they are really afraid of you coming after them with money. So we hold the line. We do what we can. I'm telling you, people think there's no victories. We've already got some victories. Like I told you, 52-48, not to give COVID payments to the illegal aliens. That's fantastic. Also, there was a voice vote that said they're not going to do the $15 an hour minimum wage until COVID's over with. So there's another win, right?
Yeah. People don't understand that. Why wouldn't you give somebody $15 an hour? Well, have you ever tried to run your own business and have been forced to pay somebody a certain amount of money? You go out of business. That's exactly what a lot of these people want. They want small businesses to fail. They don't want you running your mom and pop shop. They want Walmart, Target, all the fill in the blank, all the giant corporations that get 80% of their product from China to thrive, which they've had ridiculous gains in the last year, and we've lost more small businesses than I think in a long time. Maybe in U.S. history. I don't know. People are going out of business left and right, and becoming homeless, and losing everything. I'm pretty damn close. Rent was due. Let's see, the final day, the late day was today, the 5th, and I've need about $600 more to pay that rent. And I used to have a really good business. I used to make over $1,000 a year doing what I do. And I'm hurting. I know I'm not the only one. I follow. Have you ever heard of Code of Vets?
Yeah.
It's an organization out of Tennessee, and they try to help. Homeless veterans or people that are about to be homeless and stuff like that. And they're backlogged. They've handed out millions of dollars to people just to get the veterans to get their lights turned back on and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's not just veterans. There's a lot of people that are really hurting. And anyway, I'm going off on a tangent.
So. I'm just saying we got victories happening. Okay, yeah. Rand Paul guaranteed us he's going to go from state to state to get this mail-in balloting unconstitutional stuff fixed. And if he does that, that's amazing right there. And we do it by making phone calls. I told you we already had those 2 victories. Also, the Keystone Pipeline, you got people coming out saying that was a mistake. Democrats. You've also got, like I told you, Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania. Those legislatures are working to get rid of certain things. We have victories. This is not over. And I'll be honest with you, Mike. I woke up the day after the election going, "This is it. We're friggin'. We'll never get through this." And then I sat down and said, "Bullshit. I was a freaking Marine. I wasn't, whatever. Somebody's got to start doing something." And that, to be honest with you, like I said, I went from 16,000 to 80,000 because I genuinely believe what I say.
Yeah.
We're not done.
Man, I'm with you on that. When that happened, I was pretty down. There was a lot that I wanted to see happen. There was a lot that I was looking forward to, getting some justice from the people that have done what they've done to me. And when that whole thing went down at the election, and then he got inaugurated, and this whole thing, and I'm thinking, this guy, we're in that twilight zone. This is bizarro world. What in the hell is going on here? And I've been really down, and I haven't even been doing the same type of interviews since the 20th, since the inauguration. My TikTok video completely changed. I was just doing random videos that had nothing to do with anything important, and I was just kind of trying to let it sink in. And marinate a little bit.
We're not losing. We lose if we give up. I'll guarantee you one thing. Everybody says, people are saying they quit. We lose if we give up. Then we do lose. Until then, I'm telling you, phone calls. By the way, this woke environment we have where they're trying to suppress us. I've never seen Democrats use the word terrorist more than when they talk to us conservatives. Oh, it's funny. For 8 years, they never use it. Now they're calling us terrorists.
Oh, okay? If you disagree, well, I told you I'm most likely on a terrorist watch list because I called out Obama and Janet Yellen and the Federal Reserve, and I did a lot of stuff. But because I was calling out the truth, I got put on some kind of list. I'm probably on a whole bunch of them. But here's a good example of what you just said. They're calling everybody terrorists. They've gone so far. They really showed their hand when all these people from Reddit got together and invested in GameStop. Have you heard much about the GameStop thing?
Oh yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Yep. So they blew out the hedge funds, and they're going to cost the hedge funds billions of dollars. And because the peasants, the everyday Joe, that's the way they think about us, figured out a strategy to beat them, they turned around and called all of those people domestic terrorists. And a lot of those people from Reddit are actually younger people that would consider themselves liberals or progressive or
they're seeing the truth.
Fake woke, and they just got red pilled bigger than shit because they just got called a terrorist for trying to do something that they should have a right to do, and they just got called a terrorist, just like we've been called a terrorist for nothing, for speaking the truth or for standing up for our constitutional rights. And I think that side of truth just gained a whole bunch of new followers. They realized, wait a minute, maybe all these Trump people aren't actually terrorists or white supremacists or whatever the mainstream news, all their narratives that they lie about us. Those people just got called the same thing, and I think that is what's going to help people get together and become basically the Patriot Party. All the people that just are tired of the control of the quote elite. And
this may be one area that we may differ, Mike, and that's fine. That's, I don't think a third party is going to do anything right now. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to put us in a worse position. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I love the Patriot Party. I've looked at it. I've told people if certain things happen, I will join it and be a part of it. The problem is all the Patriot Party is going to do, and some people aren't going to like this. I don't give you red meat. I give you what I think is the truth.
We're brainstorming.
If you talk to most conservatives, they'll tell you they agree. Right now, if you come up with a Patriot Party, all it's going to do is divide our vote and give them power for a number of years. Okay? Now, are there people in the GOP I don't like? You bet. And there's some things the GOP doesn't do. But fortunately or unfortunately, they're the ones we need to ride with at least through 2022. All right? And I'll tell you, because unless the left started their own party and there was 4 parties, then it would make sense. But right now, all you're going to do, think about it, Mike, all the Patriot Party would do, they're going to pull very little. They would pull very little from the left or even the Democratic Party. Most of their support would come from conservatives like you and I. And then there's going to be Republicans going to stay with the party. And basically what would happen is next year, these close races in many states would end up going to the Democrats, which even give them more power, and then we would really be in trouble. That's just my take.
I appreciate the insight. I was never really into politics until I kind of was forced into it. Like, even when I was in the military, I just wanted to do my damn job. I didn't really. I was just ignorant to how important a lot of our system is. And no, I appreciate any advice. And even if we completely disagree with each other, that's okay. That's
that's what this country's about.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest tools we have right now, you just hit it. You just nailed it. And a lot of people don't realize it. Here's what I'm telling people that I'm talking to. Over the next 2 years, number one, we want to get 2022, we want to get the House and the Senate back with decent numbers. Okay. And then we hold hearings immediately showing the American people, like, what's his name from My Pillow? You know what I'm talking about, right? The owner of My Pillow.
Mike Lindell.
He just put a great video out. All right. But anyway,
No,
we get control of the House and the Senate again, 2022. That's less than a year and a half away, guys. All right. You get control, you hold hearings, you prove to the American people that there was fraud. Now, is it going to change anything from 2020? No. But it sets us up in great position for 2024, because then some of them will say, yeah, they were right. And the other thing that makes it, I think, puts us in really good position, like I said, you just nailed it. There are a lot of people that are seeing how far left these guys are going. And those are the people that we need to talk to and convince them to come over and get away from that mess. Not 2024 right now, but 2022. Get those people to vote. Because that's another thing. 60 million people still didn't vote this election. So what I'm doing over the next year is trying to get 10 people that voted for Biden or didn't vote to at least commit to taking a look at it.
Yep.
If everybody did that, we'd be in great shape.
I've been doing the same thing, and I have to stop just so I can try to save the YouTube channel here, because one of the things that YouTube says they're going to kick everybody off for is saying the election was stolen. First Sergeant and myself both believe that it was stolen. That's our opinion. We're not saying there's proof yet. There is that we've seen, but we're not saying that. God, how can I say this? It hasn't been decided in the courts. Thank you. My girlfriend's listening. She's pretty sharp. It hasn't been decided in the courts yet, and they're still working through that process. And we're just waiting to see that. So hopefully, I just covered my ass so my YouTube channel doesn't get deleted. But
yeah,
we're breaking.
You know what? And I've never been kicked off of TikTok because I'm careful about how I say stuff too. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been shadow banned bad. I got up to 127.3 thousand followers in a month and a half. What I was saying, people wanted to hear. I got
right.
10 million views in a month, and
right.
People started reporting my videos, and they're videos that I have with statistical proof, documented evidence, people that I'm friends with, that I've done interviews with, talking about technology that has U.S. patents, and they just arbitrarily delete videos. And I went from hundreds of thousands of views a day down to maybe like 5,000 overnight. They just turned.
And I'm probably gonna be looking at the same thing. We'll see.
Well, I mean, don't let it stop you. Eventually, hopefully, that will end. I mean, a lot of those people are being questioned right now. Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey from Twitter, but Vanessa Pappas actually is the CEO of TikTok, and they've been shadow banning and deleting accounts left and right, just like Twitter and Facebook have. So, but they're going to end up paying for that. They're violating people's constitutional rights by stifling our voice, and we have the right to be heard, just like everybody else. Just because we don't want to follow along with the mainstream narrative, or what what one group wants us to absorb and regurgitate, they can't do that. So, but yeah, keep doing what you're doing. I love your TikTok channel. There's a lot of people that are getting a lot of positive.
Well, I'll come on anytime you want. I'm retired now, so I can shuffle the schedule around.
That's awesome.
I'm retired, but I'm back doing this. I'm not giving up for 4 years. I may buy an RV pup to 2024, but not right now. We got work to do, bud.
I don't want to speak for you, but this is how I think about it. I swore an oath of the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And right now we have a lot of domestic enemies that want to see our country destroyed. And even though I don't have my uniform anymore, or I don't get my paycheck, that oath never ends. And I'm going to continue serving. I see you doing that. And I see that you take pride in what you're doing, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, and I get this a lot, and I'm the only, the videos are amazing. This is not, I'm not amazing. They are, because they're listening. They're doing stuff with it. Okay. Yeah. And when you believe in something, it's a piece of cake. It's easy to do,
That's good. That's good advice. That's good advice. So there's a lot of people that listen to my channel that need good motivational advice, that have a really tough time in life, that they're going through some stuff that a lot of people wouldn't even believe if they didn't experience it themselves. And just to hear, a positive voice and a voice of encouragement can be a really big deal sometimes. I'd lost track of how many people in the community that I try to advocate for have killed themselves over the last 3.5 years. I could take more fingers and toes than I have. So, like I said, just that video you did today, I don't mean to keep going back, but, just to tell people, don't give up. That might be all it takes. So yeah, those are great. Keep doing stuff like that. Those, motivational and informational type of videos. I appreciate it, and I know a lot of other people do. So,
well, the only thing I would say, Mike, is you may not agree with everything I'm saying about how we could fix this, but I will guarantee you one thing: if you give up, we do lose.
Well, remember back in the day when people used to disagree and still be friends?
What's that?
Remember back in the day how people used to disagree with each other, but they'd still be friends?
Oh, yeah.
They disagree with each other, and then they go, okay, well,
yeah.
See you on Tuesday.
Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan, two of the most wide end of, complete different ends of the spectrum, used to have dinner once every 6 months. About every 6 months, he'd go to the White House and have dinner with him.
Interesting. That's how things
fight tooth and nail, but kind of like the Roadrunner and the or who was it? The Roadrunner and the sheep, or I can't remember the coyote.
Roadrunner and the coyote, yeah. Early coyote.
Yeah. They clock out at 5, go home and have a good time. So if you give up, it's over. If you don't, we got things to do.
Yep. Okay, well, I really appreciate you. We're on just about an hour. Is there anything that you'd like to tell the audience in closing? Or
just don't give up. And I'm going to start doing some YouTubes too. I'll stay in touch with you. I want to get some advice from you about where to go with this. I've done some things too, but I'll just say don't give up. We got things to do, and it involves them getting involved.
That's awesome. Where can people find you? Are you on any kind of social media like Twitter or Facebook?
I got off of all of them because they were pissing me off. So right now I'm on TikTok. That's that's where I'm getting more done on TikTok. I am going to start a YouTube this weekend. People recommended that, even though they kicked Trump off and I made me mad. I'm going to start it again. And so right now it's just mainly TikTok, but I'll put the links on TikTok once I get my other ones.
Okay, great. Well, I'll tell you what, when you start your YouTube channel, to help you get some subscribers, when I use this platform that I'm using right now, we can do another interview and we can live stream to your YouTube channel and mine at the same time. And I'll help advertise for you a little bit and get some subscribers and get that YouTube channel built. Gab.com. I don't know if you've heard of Gab.
I have.
Gab.com. They're completely run on their own. They don't use. They have their own servers and everything. But Gab seems to be pretty. Yeah, they're still working on it. I think they're trucking in a bunch of servers because they've had a huge influx of new users. Because they're not censoring anybody. Basically, say what you want. They're not going to censor you. They're not anti-conservative. The owner, the CEO, is a Christian. So Gab's pretty good. Might want to check that out.
I'll get on there and let you know. I'll stay in touch with you. We got DMs and you got my cell number now. So
yes, sir.
And I'll be. All I can say is keep fighting the fight. It's only over if you give up. And it's kind of rude, but I say, look, if you want to quit and you want to roll over and what on yourself, go for it. But don't be watching me and Mike.
Well, that's good drill instructor.
It comes out every now and then, but it comes out.
I love it, man. When you're on your live stream earlier and you said nobody will ever forget their drill instructor, and immediately both of my in the Air Force they call them TIs, which is weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the people watching my channel know what I'm talking about. But technical instructor. But as soon as you said that, both of them just boom popped up into my brain, and I kind of chuckled because Staff Sergeant Harris, I remember him yelling at us, and he's like, "Damn it, I can't wait to get rid of you bastards so I can retire and get a boat and go drink beer." And I mean, you'd say it with love. You know what I mean. You were a drill instructor, I miss those guys. I wonder what they're doing now, and I still appreciate the. Them putting us what they put us through. Actually, one of our Air Force training instructors was a former Army Ranger. That guy was badass, and
wow.
I was thankful to have him as a training instructor. So, anyway, all right,
that's cool.
we'll end on that note. And thanks again for being here. Really appreciate it. Congratulations with all your followers on TikTok. Everybody out there, if you're not on TikTok, a lot of people are kind of anti-TikTok, but it's a great platform, and it's not what you think. I've met a lot of
it isn't at all. It's what you make of it.
Yeah.
Chinese aren't spying on you. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
There's no verifiable. I mean, if they're spying on every platform through some back door or something like that. And there's no verifiable evidence that shows that they're owned by the CCP.
No, they're not. So
yeah.
Anyways, like I've always said, I appreciate being on, and text me when you want to do it again.
Sounds great. Have a great night, man. Thank you.
First Sergeant out.